bunch of crazed up.
My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Woo! What's happening, people? Yes, welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk Giants football. Yep, every single week. And, we're a week into this Harbaugh thing, so let's get into it. I see you guys piling in the room. What's happening, people? Independent outsider. That's a mouthful. Hello, sir. How are you? I am so glad that you're here hanging out with us. All right. 1 week after Harbaugh was introduced as the New York Giants head coach, he's been a pretty busy guy. So let's look into real quick, just some quick notes. By the way, we have a special guest, Lori Rubinson from WFAN coming on tonight. So we're going to chat with her. I got Joker in the back hanging out. Real quick, just to kind of lock in some case you guys were busy with snow. I got over 1.5 feet here. My back's all cranky. So I'm apologizing in advance if you see me wince. Okay. If I'm like, oh, I got disc issues right now. All right. One thing, special teams coordinator Chris Horton's in the house. Patterson, Manuel, the rest of the coaches were let go. We're expecting Charlie Bolin to be, if he wants it, right? He's to come back. And believe it or not, Tim Kelly, the tight end coach, is rumored to be able to might be locking in also. There were 10 bodies. In case you're not keeping up with the wire, the Giants signed 10 reserve future contract players. So, and it's all in 1 week, people. So a lot of stuff's happening. Defensive coordinator Denard Wilson has been tapped as the new the DC in New York, so we'll get into that. And of course, Monken is potentially on his way now that he is officially out as a Cleveland head coach candidate. And of course, we're going to have Lori from WFAN. By the way, if you're looking for Lori, she is on Sunday nights from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And we'll get into the scheme that Wilson likes to run. We'll talk a little bit about Horton. We'll talk a little bit about the moves that are being made and what you guys think about what's going on in week 2. So as you guys well know, this is Giants Rush. We're here every single Monday talking, Giants football, right? What else do we talk about? And for me,
it's good to be the king.
Gotta love that. Love my Shockey. Normally we have Ryan Dunleavy on. He'll probably be back after the Super Bowl, so we'll bring him on. I've been working on, believe it or not, I've been working on Connor Hughes and a couple other people, so got some people lined up for you. But you can't go far without this guy. What's up?
Man, nothing gets me fired up more than seeing some LT highlights, and then you add the Jack Nicholson Joker in there. Let's go. Let's go.
And some Shockey.
Well, of course, I love Shockey too, but we're talking about my intro, not your intro.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
Sometimes it's got to be about me.
Sorry, lost my head. I forgot who the king was for a second. So me and you are going to hold the fort down for 20 minutes. Then Lori's going to come on. Super excited to have her on board.
Absolutely.
And her and I have gone back and forth over the years. All good stuff, of course. She's always a pleasure to talk to. And she's a big marketing executive in Manhattan. And so she's got her pulse on the business and the sports side of things. let's start off with what I mentioned earlier today. Middle of the week last week, or probably the end of last week. Maybe it was, I don't remember, it was Thursday or Friday. The Giants signed, I don't know if you want to get it, came to an agreement, let's say, agreement with special teams coordinator, Chris Horton.
Yeah.
He had originally gotten blocked, right?
Yes.
From the Giants. What do you think turned around there?
Well, there's a couple of things floating around. Either Minter was like, okay, you can go there, but I think it's because they offer them the assistant head coach position as well as special teams coordinator, and that looks as promotion. There's been some confusion. I was having conversations, but everything I looked up says that you can't block it if it's a promotion, and getting the assistant head coach tag is a promotion. I haven't heard anything else that it was Minter who said it's okay. So I think that Harbaugh was like, all right, we're going to make him, this guy's good. Like, I looked up what he did. Like, was it 21, 22, and 23? They were 1, 2, and 3 in special teams. Like, huge upgrade. Like, this is what we've been wanting for a long time, right? Special team. Excellent hire. This staff is coming together real nice, but Horton's a huge hire.
Yeah, and overall, the thing is, like, it's not, there's a very fine line between good special teams and bad special teams, right? It's like, all right, you could be 15th in the league and be a point or two, away from being 10th or 8th, right?
Yeah.
But where it counts is, a special teams coach that can say to the head coach, we need a kicker, or we need a punt returner, or hey, coach, I got a guy here that can return kick, like, just a guy that, has his finger on the pulse of what the team has and does not have, right? Do we have a punt returner? No, go get one, coach. Hey, coach, I've been working with these guys. I think we're going to be good. I got a kick returner, right? In this case, I don't know what kind of deal Gunner had. I'm assuming they would bring Gunner back, I
mean,
but
it might be somebody else. If they don't, that's fine. I'm trusting Horton. I mean, we just saw the Rams lose on with special teams. The special teams did them in all year, cost them a game in my opinion, cost them a game against Seattle because of that muff punt that happened. So
yeah. So you need a guy who gets it, and Horton evidently he gets it, because proof. You know me. What do I always say? It's a body of work. What has he done? Let's look at the body of work, right? So, and of course, and he got blocked because probably, like we talked about, like someone else wanted him to be there, right? So. It's good that, I'm excited for Horton. I definitely am. I like that he's young. And that assistant head coach tag gives him a quote unquote promotion. What's up, Cold? He just mentioned promotion. I was looking for that word. So seems like a good fit. And, he's going to drive up 95 North and come coach for the New York Giants.
Plus he's been with Harbaugh for a long time. Like, I think and which is
12
huge.
seasons,
like, that matters.
12 seasons in Baltimore. So he got the assistant head coach tag. This is the first time he's had that tag. He had 12 seasons in Baltimore, and everybody raves that he knows his stuff, can identify talent and gets the most out of his guys. So excited about that opportunity.
Yep.
And I don't know if you saw this, and I don't even know if anything transpired over the last 48 hours, but we did hear, right, Charlie Bullen potentially coming back as the outside linebacker coach, correct?
Supposedly he's been retained. Him and Tim Kelly both have been retained. That's the word out there. So unless Bullen gets a DC position, but if he doesn't, he's coming back is how I understand it.
Yep. And so
that's a nice get. That's a nice get to bring him back. We saw what Burns did. He had Carter doing well. Like those outside linebackers like him and they play for him. So I think that's him coming back. I think I like it. I like it a lot.
And I don't know what sometimes I think when you're hiring a new staff, you may go to one of the players. Like, it's a good chance, Harbaugh calls Burns and goes, You like your guy? Oh, we love our guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that some player input with high level, type of players, right?
Yep.
Like, I'm not sure Harbaugh called, Thibodeau, but there's a good chance.
You had to get some Tibbs hate in there, didn't you?
I didn't.
We're not going to call Thibodeau because he's not important enough to ask.
You're taking it the wrong way as usual.
I'm sure he called Carter though too.
I'm saying
sure
that
all
like
3 of those guys.
Maybe, right? But maybe sometimes though, like sometimes you open up too much of a can of worms with a bunch of different guys and they all get their opinions heard. Like I'm sure he went to the leader of the defense, Dexter and Burns, and just been like, hey, do you like bowling? You know what I mean? I'm not saying he didn't call those other guys. I was just
Or he probably asked Carter Burns what the other guys thought of him, because he got a career year out of, he improved Tibbs. He got another career year out of Burns, and then he got Carter better as the season went along too. So as he took over as DC, so I'm sure he asked him, and those guys, they love him.
By the way, shout out from Independent Outsider says, hope you can get Danielle McCartan on as well. Lori and Daniel are my two favorites on WFAN. Not to get sidetracked, but the FAN's hard to listen to. Now, I don't listen to it on a regular basis. I'm also out of market, so I have to go out of my way to listen to it. But I appreciate that that sentiment, Independent Outsider. I'll have to call you I.O. For sure. But yeah, Lori's great. We'll have her on in a couple minutes. Let's do a little bit of this, because this is always fun to do. And, we're just going to do this. It's just me and you. So. All right, love, hate. Normally, if you're new to the show, we usually do something here called Studs and Duds, but there's no games, right? So there's really no studs and no duds. I mean, I can always find a dud, but in this case, we do a little bit of love, hate. I'm going to just give you a topic. You give me something you love about it. Give me something you hate about it.
All right, sounds good. Let's do it.
This is an easy one. I don't even think I put this in the notes, so I'm throwing you a little bit of a curveball. Brasillo is not coming back.
Yeah.
There is all sorts of opinions. If you bring it up, you're getting called a Harbaugh hater. Or if you bring it up, you're getting you don't believe in Harbaugh, right? Or all these people want to just have their voice heard, right? I think it has value that we talk about the move. And I'm going to show you, before you answer why, what you love or you hate about it.
Okay.
I'm going to bring this up here just so we don't forget about it. If you go online and you hit into some Ravens, pages, some, X pages, Twitter pages, right? There's not a whole lot of love for Word Up. I mean, there's just not a lot of love for the man. So I'm asking you, what do you love about Brasillo coming back? What do you hate about Brasillo not coming back?
Well, if Brasillo comes back, then that, I love the fact that he's continuity. It'll be his third year with the O-line, that he keeps improving.
But evidently he's not coming.
Well, yeah, because he's choosing not to. So it's not like they didn't want him back. He's choosing not to. So
is that the truth though? Because I heard today that Harbaugh opted for Warhop over Brasillo, but I don't know that
not even been offered the position. I don't know who's saying that. Warhop is none of that.
I think there was out of some of those Ravens pages I was looking
at. There's nothing there. I haven't heard anything about Warhop coming in. So from what I understand, I think it's that Carm wanted to follow Dabes. If Dabes gets an OZ position or a head coach position, he wants to go with him. He's used to it. He's used to that system. So that's what I've heard. Things could change. Nothing's been official as of yet, so you don't know. But I hate that he's going and didn't want to come back, because again, he's done wonders with that O-line. But I'm okay. Listen, one thing Harbaugh does is hire a good staff. So I'm not overly worried. I'm really not.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, for me, I love the fact that he is because he comes from the Raiders, who had a good offensive line, but not a great team, right?
Right.
So I love the fact that he's done really well with what he has and made that a very cohesive unit. Talent definitely stands out, because we weren't sure what JMS was. We weren't sure what Runyon was, right?
Right.
We knew Illuminor was good, but definitely didn't know him to be as good as he is, right? So I think, whatever he is working on with these guys, again, JMS, a little bit of a slow starter, but I love the fact that he got those guys to where they are. I mean,
Right.
depending on the source you want to look at, you know me, I'm not a big into that one analytical company. I don't even like to bring its name up.
Oh yeah.
But if you look at any analytic company that's breaking down numbers, okay, there's good 4 or 5 of them out there, sources. I saw anywhere from 9 to 15. So I love the fact that he's done that because they've been 29 or 30 for the last 3-4 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's done a great job here. Love it.
What I hate about it is, and I'm going to take a lot of crap for this, and even Cole is saying it's. Let me put Cole's comment up here.
Oh yeah.
It's Harbaugh's choice. I would have liked for him to come back, but it is what it is. It's true. Like it's just true. Like I don't want to fall in love with all these Baltimore coaches, right? Because when there's a lot of guys around, right? Like, so, not that like if it's a choice between Brasillo and Warhop, I mean you got to take Brasillo because they know him the best.
Yeah, but if Priscilla doesn't want to come back, there's nothing we can do. But I'll say this: I put this out here. Here's my thing. I don't care how many Ravens coaches he's bringing with him because they've had 3 losing seasons in 18 years under him, and the 8 wins was considered a losing season. So
because they changed the number of games.
I want to bring because they know how to win, they get it done. So I don't care. Bring them all. I don't care about that at all. Not one.
Yeah. Well, I was just giving you my love hate. You know what I mean? Like
Gotcha.
I love the fact that he's done.
I'm giving you my
with the
counter.
line. I hate the fact that he potentially might not be here. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what's interesting about what's happened is, I mean, he's been here for 5 days and he's definitely, active.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
What do you love about what's happened since his introduction? What do you hate since his introduction?
Ooh. Well, I love the fact that Kevin Abrams is not in charge of our cap anymore in contracts. Absolutely love that. There's really nothing I hate. He's done a lot of great things. He's made some adjustments there. I can't think of anything I hate. So I'm just going straight love on this one. I got no hate. He hasn't. I mean, what's not to love? I mean, he made some adjustments with the medical staff, the training staff. Like, what's not to love so far? Yeah, I got nothing. Sorry. It's just love right now.
Yeah, we might have to change the segment to love.
Well, with that question, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Love, more love, and
right. Love less, love more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're glazing them a little bit here, but
that's okay. Well deserved.
We all know I've brought Spartan Mike always tells the story how literally the backup tight end, actually at that time he was the 3rd string tight end, got pushed into a starting role and got hurt really bad. And then they messed up his medical like crazy. And I had just, and him and I had reached out to him and we kind of ping ponged back and forth. And he slammed the medical staff, for the Giants. And we've had issues with, injuries and turf and all sorts of, injured teams. So I feel good that they're bringing in, and again, Ronnie Barnes is a legend.
Absolutely legend. Absolutely legend.
I mean, seriously.
On a lot of things, he is beyond just a trainer for a lot of former Giants players. He's a confidant. He's all that. But I mean, Evan Neal got messed up too. They put him back out there with more of a serious injury. Like there's been a lot of that the last several years where it's like, it was just time for a change. It was time for a change.
Like I said, guy's a legend. Guy just basically just self-made guy. Unbelievable a career.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just time.
Right.
And it might have been time years ago, but if we're changing if we're changing our spots here, there's nothing wrong with a fresh take or a fresh coat of paint, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. And Cole's point is when you become a perennial loser, you got to shake things up, which we probably should have done 4 years ago. but I get it. And part of that's also with the scouting. I've always had an issue with the scouting department, and it's gotten better, but it's not revolutionary. It's just not the way they, where they Joe Shane's like basically a scout, even though he's the GM, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Yeah, which
You know?
bothers me, but by the way, to no end.
Yes,
Bothers
but I
me.
think Harbaugh's changing that because rounding out the staff, Joe Shane is not going to be at the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl, and that's something different over the last 4 years. So that's good, and he needs to be. We've said
Yeah.
it on here to you that he needs to stop going to as many college games and stay in the office and do some other stuff. You know,
Yeah, like
I think he
like
forgot
this.
he was not a scout anymore, or an assistant GM anymore.
And it's just this point where like, bro, what are you doing Monday through Friday? Like,
Yeah, right.
you know what I mean? Like, all
Traveling.
right, like, time out, dude. Like, we get it. You like to be involved with the player personnel. I applaud you for it. But bro, like, we don't have a punt returner. We don't have a kicker. We don't have a backup middle linebacker. We don't have anything. This is your job. If I'm not mistaken, in order, you lose Neighbors, you lose McFadden, you lose Gano, and you do nothing to replace them. What are you actually doing?
Well, he's going to be doing a lot more now as a partnership with Harbaugh. So let's go.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So they signed 10 players, all sorts of positions. Hard. Those guys are very hard to make rosters, but so they've been busy. Patterson, Manuel, all the other guys, as we mentioned, are gone. Horton is.
We're getting a new wide receiver coach. What have I been saying for the last couple of years on this show, right? Like, why is the wide receiver coach getting a pass? Because he's the son of a well-respected former Giants coach? No, I'm so excited.
Who are you talking about? Grow?
Yeah, Mike Groh.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he was around. Like, what did he do that elevated the wide receivers? Nothing that I can absolutely tell.
I mean, look, it's still about the talent, right? Because like Wandale had.
Are you going to do this again? Are you going to do this again with the talent? You going to downplay coaching?
No.
Is that what you're about to do?
Nope. You didn't. You know what? You didn't let me finish. It's just me and you. You didn't let me finish.
Okay,
I was going to say, wise ass, that that it's always about the talent, but like, I don't love Grow. I'm not defending Grow. But I am saying that, how long's Grow been there? 2 years, 3 years?
I think he's been here the entire time, 4 years under Daboll.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Somebody in the chat, look up for me how long Grow has been the wide receiver coach. Was he here entire, stint of Daboll or not? Let me know. Again, our wide receivers aren't terrible, but they're not good enough to win. Like, you know what I mean?
You can make them better. That's what a coach is there to do. They're good enough to make them better.
Well, that's what makes me go back to more of the scheme stuff. Like, dude, these guys catch balls in practice. They learn how not to fumble. They learn how to get in and out of breaks. Like, all that stuff's rudimentary. But if the scheme does not allow them to excel in what they do, like I'm and by the way, our boy Kafka got a new job today with the Detroit Lions.
Don't care.
Just in case anybody wants to know.
Don't care. Bye.
I'm
not wishing him well. I don't want to see Giants fans say wish him well, good luck, hope he does well. No. It's a new day, a new era. We're not wishing any of these guys who lost here any luck.
Mark Thompson says, without the cap, Craig, that mustache looks a lot grayer. Like, yeah, dang right, Mark. It is getting gray. Hands down. Thanks for noticing the gray in my mustache, Mark. That's just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to keep hearing about Kafka. I hope he does. I don't know. Yeah. They're gone. Everybody's gone. All the coaches are gone.
I'm wishing everybody good luck. However,
that's fine. You can, but I'm going to give people
cares what you think. Listen, you know who we do care.
People care what I think. Thank you very much.
You know who they care about? They care about Lori. They care about Lori from WFAN. We're going to bring her in because she's in the. Listen, I just want you guys to know. Not only should you be following Lori, she's on Sunday nights on WFAN from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So if you're up late night, sometime you want someone to talk to, she's there. She is there. If I happen to send out some tweet, she's like, Craig, you're a dumbass. Let's talk about this. And by the way, an amazing.
I like her already just for saying that.
Exactly. And she's an amazing marketing executive also. So I'm going to bring her. See, I wish I had an intro for her. I don't have, trying to see even if I could even like fake I have an intro for her. Because it's all Dunleavy stuff in here. Lori, I've let you down. I did not create an intro for you, but I did want you to know I'm excited that you are here because Sean is already making me crazy.
Actually, Lauren and I have agreed a lot on Twitter. I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. And I like Ryan Dunleavy. So I don't know. You want to play a Dunleavy intro? Whatever you want to do.
I'm like, how does he get two intros and Lori doesn't have any?
Yeah, you're right. I deserve my own intro. Anyway,
yeah,
we're gonna make one for you. We will make one for you because now that you're part of the Rush family, we'll have you back. We started the show, Lori, we start the show off with something called Studs and Duds. We run this big intro for it. Games are over. We migrate in the offseason to something called Love Hate. Something you love, something you hate. So we went through, Carmen Bracillo potentially not being here.
Hate.
And you know what? And I was saying to Sean that what he's done with the offensive line over the last 2 years has been wonderful. When you look at, I pulled out 5 sources, Lori, anywhere from 9 to 15th in the rankings. So my question I'm going to lob to you is what your thoughts are on why did he get these guys playing so well? I know continuity has a lot to do with it, but something's got to be in the water.
I think that, so first of all, I think like a lot of Giant fans, I think, count me in the hate column that Carmen Bracillo is not coming back as Giants offensive line coach, and that he did a brilliant job. Why did he do such a good job? I think there's a few things. One is, when we talk about continuity, Giants have had continuity with the line before, but if you have continuity of bad, I mean, you could keep running Evan Neal out there, and that's continuity, I suppose, on some level, while he gets hurt. But like, they've had continuity, and they've brought back offensive line coaches, and they've changed them, and they've done different things and gotten bad results. I think here, one maybe obvious but underrated aspect of continuity was it wasn't just that Carmen Bracillo was, with this offensive line, but he also brought 2 guys from the Raiders. So he had obviously previously been the Raiders offensive line coach. And then Jermaine Illuminor and Greg Van Roten come over with him. So now he's got continuity. It's not just like, I brought, he'd been with those guys for a while. So that was like another element of continuity, I guess. But he's also just good. I think communication maybe was a real strength of his. How many times have you both watched Giants offensive lines through the years when we're mid-season and the other team runs a stunt? And it's like 2 guys just, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's impossible. How could that happen in week 11? And they are just flummoxed. And 2 Giants offensive linemen are just stunned to see this happen and cannot begin to figure out how to block this thing. There was a level of competence this last season with the offensive line that guys are going to lose. You'll lose your one-on-one matchup sometimes. That might happen. Another guy's a great move. Things can happen. Yep. But just not being able to see or understand and how to pick up a stunt and the communication, all of that, there was a level of preparation that Carmen Bracillo was able to have happen with this line that was really a huge improvement. And of course, the biggest things, there's a talent thing. Andrew Thomas, when he plays, the line is so much better. There's no doubt about that. He's by far their best, offensive player. And then Jermaine Illuminor, was really good. So all of that, the line was a revelation this past year.
Yeah, some simple things too. Like you said, like how many times have we seen that delay stunt, or a twist come right up the center unblocked, and you got guys going, I thought he was yours. It's like that Spider-Man meme that you see all the time where they're pointing at each other. Yeah. So So yeah, I mean, it's something as simple as keeping your head on a swivel, picking up, helping the guy from the inside was a breath of fresh air. So him not coming back, or potentially, I don't know if it's written completely. I know Warhop is supposedly going to be the guy.
Here's what I think, and this is not based on, I can't tell you for sure, but if you look at the chain of events, Harbaugh press conference, his dad singing the praises of Carm Bricillo, what he was kind of saying, who he was interviewing, all that sort of stuff. My sense is that if Bricillo had wanted to come back, Harbaugh would have been happy to have him, and he would be the Giants' offensive line coach. And I think there are possibly a couple of explanations. One is, I'm not sure if Harbaugh felt the same way about his assistant offensive line coach, Ferentz. So maybe that's one of those things that rubbed Carm the wrong way. I'm merely speculating. I have no idea were there conditions he didn't like or whatever. That's one. I have no idea. The other is very simple explanation that he really liked working with, Dable. And Dable said to him, wherever I go, come with me and be my offensive line coach. And whether that means I'm a head coach someplace, like, Buffalo works out or whatever, or I'm an offensive coordinator in Tennessee, come stay with me. You'll have job security. Like, you're my guy, whatever it is. That's my guess. 'Cause it's weird to see him go from John Harbaugh saying, my dad loves him and is telling me to hire him, and then suddenly he's not offered a job. Like, I have a hard time believing that Harbaugh did not want Carm Bricillo. Something went on, whether it's terms they couldn't see eye to eye, whatever it is, there's something there, but that seems odd to me.
Yeah, and we did.
I like Laura already. She's already saying the same points that I'm saying about he was going to follow Dabs. Look at that. Look at that.
You are unbelievable. I'll turn your mic off this early in the show. We also chatted a little bit on, that Charlie Bolin is expected to come back, and Tim Kelly, the tight ends coach, which was great. And again, like as you just alluded to, it could easily be Bricillo was asked to come back and his assistant wasn't, and that rubbed him wrong and was like, hey, it's a package deal, right? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But I do like the fact, and we talked about it a second ago, was I can see Harbaugh reaching out to Burns and Dexton saying, hey, what do you think about Charlie Bolin? And they're like, we really like him. He's a smart guy. Look what he did when he was the interim DC. He's worth having around. And you look what he did with, Carter the second half of the year. And you look when Bolin was gone, you look what he, Burns continued to accelerate through the season. So it makes sense that he comes back. I was shocked a little bit with the Tim Kelly move because the tight ends are a little bit of a sticking point for me. Theo Johnson can't catch, and the best tight end, which is Bellinger, can't get on the field. So I'm a little shocked that Tim Kelly was brought back. I mean, again, I'm sure the continuity, again, back to that word, makes sense. They probably all said, yeah, we really like him. But I was shocked because, we should not have a tight end on our team that leads the NFL in tight ends for drops if he was that good. At some point, you turn around and you say, Tiki Barber, you got to hold it tight and high and don't fumble anymore. Like you have to work on it. And I'm sure there is work being put into it. But and Sean, you can run with this because I know you think it's a mirage that Theo hasn't dropped any balls. Were you shocked that Tim Kelly came back?
I think Harbaugh also has familiarity with him because Kelly was in Tennessee, so that may have something to do with it as well. He liked what he did in Tennessee, bringing him back. He didn't have a good tight end coach option, so he's going to stay with what's here. I mean, I think Kelly did a good job, and we took over as OC. I think he did some good things there. So that would be my guess, is that he was familiar with him in Tennessee. You saw what he did here. The guys probably liked him. He's like, all right, let's keep him as well. See if Lori agrees with me.
I think Theo had a drop problem in college. So certain things are intrinsic to a player and you work on that. He's still a young player and you hope that improves over time. It's funny is with all the coaches on the Giants coaching staff, I don't know. I feel like in a lot of ways, the tight ends coach to me was like one of the most nondescript. Like if you had said to Giants fans, like, all right, we're running a poll here. Who do you think is coming back? And there would obviously like Priscilla would have been your first choice. And, then you would have been, I think
Patterson.
You would have had different things you would guess. I don't think anybody was thinking of the tight ends coach. I think just kind of nondescript. But I'll say this is that Harbaugh, if obviously, it's a duh, but look at those Baltimore Ravens teams.
Heavy tight end.
Yeah, they've had good tight ends, and they use their tight ends, and so that's one where I don't know, in the scheme of things for this team, and if he thinks interviews this guy and feels like, all right, I think he could be a solid tight end coach for our team, I'm going to trust Harbaugh when it comes to tight ends. I feel okay about that one. The one, I'll tell you the one I want. I forget his name. I should remember it, but I know they interviewed him for offensive coordinator, but the guy who basically said that Jalen Hyatt, the wide receivers coach from Dallas, who says that Jalen Hyatt is like basically can't run a route tree, and Hyatt was all up and before he was drafted, like and offended by this, and then of course we saw what he is. I want them hiring that guy. I want him to be the receivers coach on the Giants, and either Hyatt is going to stick around for 30 seconds and be revived, or they're going to cut him. But I want like the microphone, the hidden camera in that meeting room when Jalen Hyatt has to walk in, and that guy is his position coach.
Yeah,
priceless. All I want to do is be a fly on the wall or have a camera on that one, and him being like, "You got to be kidding me!" Yeah. Now, this guy,
right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they hire him. Sometimes that's what they do. They get guys in, interview them for one position, and then add them as another. So it would not surprise me. And clearly he was right. So he knows what he's talking about. Hire him. I love it.
Yeah. Especially when you can identify that there's a lack of buying in from the beginning, or, Lori, I tell this story all the time. Last year, well, I guess it'll be 2 years now, the 2004 season, they were playing Washington at home, and Drew Lock got hurt somewhere around the end zone, 5-yard line, 3-yard line, somewhere around down there. So they're looking at Drew Lock, and Neighbors and Hyatt were in the pass route, right? So Neighbors gets done with his route. Drew Lock is down. He's standing by the Washington sideline. If you remember it, there's a ton of photos of him standing next to Jaden Daniels, talking to him, and people are all in an uproar, right? But what you can't see, which I can see because I'm fortunate to sit in the lower bowl on the 22-yard line, is Hyatt had run, a fly route, a 9 route in that pass route. And now he's on the other side of the defense, right? And he's all by himself while they're taking care of Drew Lock. Instead of running back to the huddle or running off the field, he's sauntering through the Washington defense. I've never seen it done before in my life. The defense now is starting to come together to call whatever the next defense is going to be when Drew Lock gets up. And Drew Lock was fine. He just got banged around, right? But here's like Hyatt, like literally like walking through the defense and then sauntering off the field. And I'm like, what's this guy's deal? Like, the last thing you want to be doing is walking through the defense. You, A, going to walk around it. B, you're going to run off the field. Why are you walking? And why do you feel you're above running off the field? So I've really never understood the player, right? With the lack of buying in what it takes to be a pro. So if he goes, he goes.
Yeah. Lack of situational awareness. By the way, it's Robert Prince. That's the guy's name who was interviewed to be the OC. It is the former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver coach. And so I have my eye on him. And yeah, if we can just get that hidden camera for the first position coach position meeting, we'd
I
love
want
it.
to see the look on Hyatt's face when he walks in and sees him.
Right. Hi.
Serious.
Yeah, we're here.
Remember me?
Yeah.
Looks like I was right.
Yeah,
Want to
in
learn
fact,
a route tree?
even better yet, when he walks in the room, they should throw that video up on the big screen as he walks in. Now that would be classic. It'd be like, hey, remember this moment?
Now, you know what? You don't even have to. I mean, that's, personally, I love when with moments like this is, I mean, he's going to know. He's going to walk in there and they're all going to know. And he's going to know. And that guy's just going to smile at him and it's going to be like, oh, man. Anyway. All right. We digress. What else do you want to talk about?
So we talked about Chris Horton being in the house, which is great. Assistant head coach. It's not a lateral move because he had gotten blocked in the past, which is, and by the way, highly respected guy. I think he's going to do, and we were saying there's a very fine line between good special teams and bad special teams. But what I really like is a guy that can say to the coach, we don't have a punt returner. We don't have a kicker. We need, or this, you know what? I've got this. I've got 3 guys here. We're working all week long on returning punts. There was some kind of breakdown between, Gunner not being here and then them having a guy on the practice squad with Smith that could return kicks, but they never elevated him. And then Gano goes down and then we got all these kicker issues. Like, I like the fact that as an assistant head coach, he's going to have a lot to say. So that to me makes it feel a little bit better that, and again, he's with 12 seasons in Baltimore.
Yeah. So I think there's 2 things here. The stuff you're talking about is honestly so pathetic that the Giants could not execute the 100%. Absolute bare minimum. And I don't even blame. I blame Joe Schoen. And I blame Brian Daboll. And fine, you want to blame special teams coach, you can. But I blame Joe Schoen and the front office. You're supposed to be responsible for the roster. So you have to be able to handle things like, we drafted it. We have no punt returner on this roster. So we're going to roll with Eric Gray because we drafted him and we want to look like we're smart and not idiots. So we're going to try and make him a punt returner, even though every Giant fan watched all the preseason games and that year. And we're like, the dude is not a punt returner. He can't do this job, but they have to do this. And they cut, like, I think it was Jamison Crowder or whatever. They're like, whatever. They would make these moves. Or the classic. You have Gunnar Olszewski. Let's have multiple punt returner options on the practice squad, but we've got a guy in our regular punt returner is in concussion protocol. We're not going to elevate anybody just in case for game day. And then when he doesn't clear concussion protocol and there's no punt returner, we shrug our shoulders. We're like, oh my God, how could this happen? Like, I don't think that's actually even the special teams coach's fault because he's not an idiot. That's Joe Schoen. That's the stuff that pisses me off. So the bare minimum BS of that's John Harbaugh. Like, now the Giants now have a head coach that will be competent. So the basic BS of all that garbage that Giants fans have had
it goes away.
That goes away. Now, this new special teams coach, what my expectation is, not that they get the absurdities taken care of that 30 teams in the league can do, but the Giants, I don't know. There must be some other idiotic team that can't do it too, but maybe not. But like every other team can do the basics. Now they'll do that. But I mean, the Ravens special teams with Harbaugh and now with this guy, Chris Horton, can you imagine Giants special teams that actually, I don't know, like the coverage is really good. And actually they have eyes for talent and they draft guys and they have guys who are, whether it's gunners or return men. And how about, I don't even want to hear about the Scottish Hammer. How about like a punter who legit has a big leg and directional kicking and all of that? Like all of these things, they should be go from being bad in special teams to being a consistently top 10 special teams team.
Well, that's why I brought up the fact that if he has an assistant head coach, he also doesn't have to take, hey, this is wrong. We're not doing this. This guy's got to go. or this doesn't work anymore. Because there's definitely a hierarchy or a pecking order on the special teams. Coach is not complaining like, hey, if you're telling me it's Eric Gray, like in last year's scheme, it's Shane and them just being idiotic and forgetting how to do their jobs. At least I like the fact that Horton's got skin in the game.
Yeah, but the head coach also, as we all know, came from himself being a special teams coach. So,
Yes.
like, you just know that if there's one thing that is going to improve significantly, I will be very surprised if special teams doesn't improve significantly. And we saw, honestly, the Seahawks, some of why the Rams are not going to the Super Bowl is special teams. It is really important. And the teams that do it really well, it is an advantage.
All right. And and the fact that, the Cooper Kupp didn't have a first down. Let's talk then about this, because now we're kind of catching up to where we were and where we're going, right? So there's a big off-season, what's the word I'm looking for? A move that needs to happen. It could happen with one or two, but it's going to be right now, it's Illuminor or Wandale, right? We've got a very refreshing right tackle. We knew he was good, but not as good as he is. So we're pleasantly surprised there, right? We have a slot receiver who's undersized, gets a knee injury, kind of struggles because the scheme isn't very good. They're always to the short of the sticks with the poor guy. And then they start to open up his opportunities. And next thing you know, you get a rookie quarterback in here throwing him balls. The guy now has 1,000 yards receiving. He's going to command anywhere from $14 to $17 million a year. My question, and Sean, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Right? You get to choose one or the other. Listen, you and I both know, doing this long enough, both could happen. Neither could happen.
Right.
But
right.
For this conversation, who do you want? What's it going to take? Why do you want that individual over the what makes that the first move? Because they literally are docket A and docket 1A, 1A and 1A. So where's your take here on their first move on a player personnel level here for these two guys?
Well, so here's the interesting thing. I played both running back and receiver in college, but my first thing is running back. So I'm going to go
By
with
the way,
lineman.
we hate you guys that pretend you could do both, just for the record.
Well, I did. I didn't pretend I did do both.
Yeah, I know. But
there's a difference. There's a difference.
Running back hole.
But I had great hands. I ran great routes. That's why I was a wide receiver coach in college too. Thank you very much. Alrighty. So to answer your question, I'm going to go with the O-line, because the O-line is very important. Everything starts. You build inside out. As much as I love Wandale, as much whatever, and Illuminor is going to cost a lot, so he may price himself out. But if you're asking me who I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Illuminor, because we need that O-line intact. We need it where it needs to be. And he did really good. And he's 31, so he's not like elderly when it comes to O-linemen. They can play until 36, 37, 38. So if you get 4 years out of them, another good 4 years, well worth the investment with that O-line. So that's what I'm going.
And let's not forget, Van Roten could come back on another 1-year deal and center and play guard. I don't know if he will come back, but he has value that he can play two positions, right? And he plays extremely well next to his former Raiders teammate, right? Yeah. So he's nasty, right? It's got a nasty streak in it. So he's the first one to stick up for Dart if Dart's getting banged around. And
he loves the Giants. Like he's the biggest proponent for Giants on Twitter that you could imagine. Like that's the guy you want to have.
You mean Illuminor is the biggest proponent on Twitter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas Van Roten, Craig, you're talking about, but I would say for both of them. So I agree with you, Sean. It is really fun to see what a big sort of Giant fan Illuminor from the day you got signed is on social media. But also, Craig, then to your point, I thought it was interesting that there was, Greg Van Roten is now a free agent. At the Harbaugh press conference, there were a bunch of offensive linemen there, and there was Greg Van Roten. So I think that's kind of interesting.
I'll take it a step further. Yep. Let's double down on it. The guy's, I don't think he's missed a snap in 2 years. I mean, I think the stat was he's got the longest snap streak going. Like again, I don't want to get, like I said, I'm not going to kill anyone because I don't know anything, right? But I can have an opinion. The guy plays two positions. He can snap if he has to. He plays guard and he plays well next to Illuminor. I understand you want to get younger, right? I'm sure that Van Roten would want to come back. And I'm sure, as we've already talked about, Illuminor wants to come back. I think the Giants should bring them both back. The Wan'Dale thing is interesting because, Lori, we're always here talking about positions. The biggest, I guess, the other side of the coin on these two guys, and I'm assuming, Lori, you're choosing Illuminor also.
Let me just be clear. So I think, Sean, you were getting at something which I agree with. And Craig, you're saying it, which is, to be super clear, I'm choosing offensive line over wide receiver. 10 times out of 10, every single, every day, that ends with a Y. But let's see what Illuminor wants. I want them to bring him back. I thought he really did a great job. I would like that continuity. I guess if the price gets insane and they're trying to, work things or whatever. But if it's not him, I still want them to take that money and invest it in an offensive lineman. That's where I think the dollar should go. As far as Wan'Dale Robinson, I just think that, look, Neighbors was hurt. There were receptions to be had. We saw when Gunnar Olszewski got a chance to be in that offense with Jackson Dart throwing him the ball, he made plays. I just think that a 5'8" wide receiver better either be one of the fastest guys in the league, which Wan'Dale Robinson is not. He's quick. He's not one of the fastest guys in the league. Or you better flat out high point and compete for contested catches like Steve Smith or something. But he's not that. He's a little guy and he's fine. I think he's just fine. I'm not paying that money to someone who's fine. I think they can find replacements, offensive tackle, invest in that. To me, it couldn't be more clear.
All right. Let me play a little devil's advocate. Sean, you know where I'm going with this. Okay. Here's the interesting thing that not a lot of people are talking about. So right now, you're looking at Neighbors potentially being ready by preseason. We don't know what Neighbors is going to be when he comes back. It took Barkley a year and a half to be 100%. Mm-hmm. Everyone heals different, some fast, some slow. But for this purpose, I can't depend on Malik Neighbors game one for 100 yards and 6 catches. I can't do it. All right. So in my head, I'm also want to play a little devil's advocate is that if Wan'Dale goes and Malik Neighbors isn't ready, who's wide receiver one? Darius Slayton cannot happen under any circumstances on God's green earth. So now you're going to go into the year with a bunch of twos, a bunch of threes, and doing the same exact thing over and over again, unless you draft a wide receiver in the first or second round, because that receiver becomes wide receiver one until Neighbors is ready. And a receiver that you get in the second round or the third round isn't going to make this humongous difference. He's going to make a difference. He's not going to make the difference because he's not going to be the second or third round pick isn't going to be Malik Neighbors. So if you had to think about, nobody wants to pay Wan'Dale Robinson, like you said, what does he do well? Sean, I'm sure you'll agree with me and double down. He runs fantastic routes, right? He runs fantastic routes and doesn't get a lot of credit for it. But if you let him go and Neighbors isn't ready, this offense will have no one to throw to the ball to. And I'm not killing him. I know Sean's a big Theo Johnson fan. I like him too, but I can't have my number one receiver be Slayton and Theo, who both drop, between 5 and 10 balls a year. What are you going to do? Who are you going to throw the ball to?
I'm going to find other options. That's what I'm going to find. I'm going to pay the offensive lineman. I'll draft a wide receiver in the second round, and then I will find a veteran out there. I looked at even just, I understand it's the preseason, but remember how good Jackson Dart looked throwing to Greg Dulcich in the preseason. Little
You
Jordan.
know why
Humphrey,
that is, though, right?
Little Jordan Humphrey, all these guys. It didn't matter who they were putting on the field with Jackson Dart at times when the other starting wide receivers weren't even out there. I just think that, of course, Malik Neighbors is wide receiver 1, and it may take a while for him to get back. But to me, spending the money that it would, and I might feel differently if they didn't have Slayton's contract on the books sitting there. And now, okay, I can use some budget to pay Wan'Dale instead of Slayton. All right, fine. But you're already sitting there with that Slayton contract, and I just can't see investing in Wan'Dale. Like, to me, I want to make sure I'm taking care of the offensive line. I think that Harbaugh, we should be able to piece together a wide receiver room.
Sean,
So I got two monkey wrenches. I got 2 monkey wrenches there.
I was going to say, piece together the wide receiver.
If we lose Wan'Dale and keep Slayton, I might lose my mind. I absolutely might lose my mind. But I hear what you're saying. It's because of the contract.
I hear you. I'm not saying that, like, if I had a choice, I'd rather keep Wan'Dale than Slayton. I don't think anybody, is arguing that point. But
yeah,
I don't know what.
I agree with you. I agree. I get it. 2 monkey wrenches. Does Jackson Dart want Wan'Dale back? Because Harbaugh's already on the record saying, well, we're going to do what Dart wants and what's best for him.
No. You're the head coach. Be the grown up in the room. Make the decisions. You're not bringing him back. Whatever. Yeah, of course he's happy to have Wan'Dale back or whatever. But when you hear Jackson Dart talk, by the way, he talks about Malik Neighbors as his guy. That's like number one. I haven't. He's happy Wan'Dale got 1,000 yards or whatever. That you're not doing it because Jackson Dart likes him.
Well, and the other thing is, if Todd Monken becomes the OC like is widely expected, he runs a lot of 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, so Wan'Dale becomes expendable in that case. Although he is similar to Zay Flowers in a way in that system, so could Monken want Wan'Dale?
He is, but he's not nearly as good.
Yeah, that's so true.
You think Zay Flowers is better than Wan'Dale?
Well, let's say this. Zay Flowers is a stretch the field, like outside receiver who can burn down the field and, pressure the defense, all that sort of stuff. You're probably higher on Wan'Dale than I am. I'm not. At 5'8",
that's
and a guy who is not
point for a lot of people. Yeah, is the height. I look past the height, but yes,
if you're going to be 5'8", if you're going to be short, which Flowers is short, Flowers is one of the faster guys in the league. Wan'Dale is not. Wan'Dale's not. He's not a run past people kind of guy. You're right in saying I think he's a good route runner. And I think, look, happy to have him. And if he could be, if they didn't have Slayton's contract on the books, to me, an ideal would be to have a Neighbors one, go out and use your 2nd round draft pick on a really good young wide receiver, and now you have Wan'Dale, and you're putting that whole room together. Like, terrific. Count me in. I don't know what they do about the Slayton contract. I mean,
got to trade him.
You know what? When
it's the only choice you have.
You say that, but like, if you want to trade him, why do other teams want to trade for him then? With that,
so Slayton is in this scenario where you don't want to eat that dead cap money. I can look up the number we did a couple weeks ago. It's pretty big. So to your question, Lori, is like, why would someone? Because maybe someone is one receiver away from making a difference. They need a number. They need a number.
But they're not going to pay his contract. They'll go out and get some other receiver.
Giants are going to have to eat. Yeah, Giants are going to have to eat some of it. It's the dead cap money that's huge.
Here's what I really think will happen with Slayton is, I could be wrong, but just like they've done a few times before, I think they will go back to him and ask him to take a pay cut. I think that's what we're going to see with Slayton. They've done it to him before, so they'll probably ask him to take a pay cut.
Which is a good segue too, because the other one that's going to need to take a pay cut is Runyon. He's making a lot of money this year, and I know he wants to stay. His dad lives right down the street from me here, so Runyon's also going to need to take a pay cut. Sean.
Yeah.
The big news today, the two big news, well, I guess it would be yesterday and today, or Saturday and today. One is Monken is out as head coach candidate for Cleveland. So it looks like Monken may be on his way to East Rutherford. And of course, the big news, which has been the fire on Twitter for the last 48 hours, is the signing of Denard Wilson as the DC.
Yes.
I dug in deep on him.
Good.
I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Because I did.
I know
2
you're
years
just gonna
ago.
throw roses and everything because that's the way you roll.
When they're deserved, absolutely. I don't just throw roses to throw roses. And I can back it up. I'll back up. So I did my research on Denard Wilson when he was interviewing for the Giants DC job 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So, So here's the thing. Everywhere he's been, he's had success. Now, Tennessee, he's had success. Guys are prepared. If you look what he did, it was either week 1 this year or last year against Denver. They had like 4 or 5 turnovers in that game, like 2 or 3 interceptions. So he gets his guys prepared to play. These are the guys that he's coached and what they've done when he was the DB coach. Now, remember, in Philly, he was the DB coach, passing game coordinator. In Baltimore in 23, he was the DB coach. And he's learned under Mike McDonald, Vic Fangio, 2 really good DCs to learn under. He coached Jamal Adams, All-Pro, Darius Slay, Pro Bowl.
How dare you?
James Bradbury, All-Pro. CJ Gardner-Johnson led NFL interceptions. Kyle Hamilton, All-Pro. And he's elevated guys who are not that good, like mid-level. He's made them higher. So those are all things. So when you talk about like the body of work, he's had a body of work that has been successful. And he's spoken of very highly by a lot of coaches in this league. So I do like the hire. He's aggressive. He wants to run a 3-4 multiple defense. He's going to go after him. He's going to play man. He'll play some zone. But he utilizes the talent that's on the team. And the bottom line, he coached at Harbaugh for 1 year, right? If Harbaugh wants him and he thinks he's the guy to run this defense, Harbaugh, again, knows how to pick assistant coaches. He knows how to pick coordinators, regardless of, I know Zach Orr had whatever, but I don't think that's all on Orr. And you have one bad coaching hire out of how many? The odds are pretty good, right? So there's a lot of good to be said about Denard Wilson. I get Giants fans have PTSD because Bowen came from Tennessee, but Wilson was not there working under Shane Bowen. That's the difference. He didn't learn from Bowen. He's learned from Vic Fangio. He's learned from Mike McDonald, that same Mike McDonald who's going to Super Bowl, whose defense has been pretty damn good. So I like the hire.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I'm not sure if it was Fangio. I know he worked under Jonathan Gannon with the Eagles, but also 2 other names he worked under. Greg Williams, who, when we're not bounty gating, was a good and aggressive defensive coordinator, and Todd Bowles. And again, strictly speaking, from a defensive standpoint, those are all 4 interesting names that he worked under. And if you think of him pulling something from all 4 of those different guys and learning from them to come up with whatever it is that is his style, I'll admit I was sort of thinking that Jim Leonard, the
Denver.
Obviously coaching with Denver right now, former Wisconsin, both player as well as coordinator. I thought that Leonard would have been an interesting guy, and I was sort of hoping he was the one that they were going to go with. But when it wasn't that, then I think that Denard Wilson, number one, you figure the secondary has to get better. He's a secondary sort of whisperer. That seems to be his specialty. If you're Tay Banks, this is like your last chance to do anything. Like, if this guy can't fix you, then nobody can.
So that's an interesting point, because I went out and looked at the Titans beat reporter to kind of get some because he was outlining what the Titans lost, right? So it's a little bit along what you said, Sean, but there's a little bit something that you're going to want to know, because we all have had our fill with Tay Banks. The first thing that this beat guy was talking about was he is a former NFL safety, right? So he is a hard-nosed downhill type of guy. He's known for his accountability and aggressive defense, But this is what grabbed my attention the most, that he actually doesn't play a lot of man. He disguises the zone scheme in a cover 4 or what they call match. So what makes that really cool for us is he'll invert. And when I mean when he inverts the cover 2, he takes the slot corner off the field and he puts a safety in there. So he'll run 3 safeties. So the safety, the slot corner is actually a safety. So he could run. I don't know if Belton's coming back. I don't know if they draft that kid out of Ohio State. That safety. Yeah. But as you were saying, Harbaugh likes to run 2 tight end sets. So maybe they either re-sign Bellinger and he comes back because he's good, or they bring in another pass catching tight end to run with Theo. That's one side. The other side is this guy likes his safeties. He's a safety, right? He will run this, what they call this match coverage, an inverted cover 2, where he'll take, and I love Phillips, okay? But he'll take Phillips off the field, and in this scenario, put Belton in and let Belton, again, in this scenario, Belton might not be here, but putting Belton on the field with Holland and Newman and run 3s, which is super cool because our safeties have not been accountable. They're not hard hitters. They miss too many tackles. They're never around the ball. So I like the fact that he's a former safety. Now, from a front 4 on Tennessee, they said that they ran, which is what Lori and I were laughing about earlier. He'll put anybody on a stunt. Outside linebacker, inside linebacker. He'll take your outside linebacker and run him on a DN. We've seen McFadden blitz off either in the A gap, or they've blitzed McFadden on the outside. That he has a tendency to let the big guys up front do their thing. He's not heavy-handed, with the linebackers in the front. But guys like a Debo are going to benefit from this. I don't think Tay Banks benefits this because Tay Banks is a man guy, right? I mean, this is going to be a zone defense, right? Which is a Debo's. Yes, Debo can do both. A Debo can do both. We've talked about it, but he's a better zone guy. So I think you're going to get a lot of press. And with the term that he used after he boiled it all down was press zone. He wants guys that'll get up in your face with good hands, jam, but play zone. And then he turns into a man. So he's got a complex system, and he's going to have the right players to play it. That's not going to be Tay Banks. So I'm excited because our safeties played terrible.
I would say that the odds of him being able to fix Tay Banks are minimal. I don't expect it. I'm just saying, if you're Tay Banks and you want a shot at an NFL career as a defensive back, here's the guy who is known to develop DBs. So if anyone can do it, I think it's Wilson. But I'm with you. I think that Banks's role on this team this year is most likely spend the next year as a kick returner, and then we'll say goodbye. That is probably it. But it would be a minor miracle if he were able to resurrect that career.
And Sean, sadly, I know you're a fan. I am. You've converted me over the season. This isn't at least what I'm reading, what I heard. I watched them interview him. Flott may not fit this style of play.
He might not, but he plays zone really well. But yeah, he may not. We'll see.
I think
he wants the physical press guy.
I think that's right, Craig. I think the key from when you listen to interviews with Denard Wilson, he does talk so much about wanting his DBs to be up there on the line of scrimmage and getting hands on receivers right away, physical, get hands, be physical. Then you're dropping back to your point, but disruption and hands and physicality right away. And so those would be the kind of players that you would expect them to bring in or draft.
And I know we're stretching it here, Sean. I don't know if Phillips can play on the outside, but if they're going to put safeties, if half the game or even 1/3 the game has 3 safeties, that takes Phillips off the field. Maybe Phillips gets pushed to the outside, learns to. I mean, I'm sure in his career he's played on the outside before.
He's played on the outside. He could. He's physical, so maybe they do move him to the outside. Who knows?
Because if anybody's physical, it's Phillips.
Yeah, and if you don't bring Flott back, maybe that allows you to sign Wandale and Illuminar or Linderbaum, which is another monkey wrench in the thing.
Oh, why you got to go there?
Just saying.
So, are you happy? Are you, Lori? Are you happy with Wilson? I know you wanted. You said Leonard was your lead. Your lead candidate. But it seems like everybody's pretty much embraced it. The only thing, as Sean mentioned, is the Tennessee thing bites because it's a Shane Bowen team. But as Sean explained, it's not like he worked under him. Are you happy with the move? Is this what you like? Was this the second best thing to Leonard for you?
The Tennessee part to me is irrelevant. Like that has nothing to do with, that Shane Bowen coached there. And as you said, Sean, their paths didn't cross. So that part I don't care. I care more about which teams has Denard Wilson, who has he learned from? Who has he coached under? What has he done? I also think it's interesting. His first 3 years, I think he broke in as a scout for 3 years with Chicago. And so in terms of being able to also help evaluate talent, I kind of think that that's sort of interesting as well. So the only hire so far that I would say I'm disappointed, the only place I'm really disappointed in with Harbaugh is I am disappointed so far with the offensive line coach. Anything else, I'm kind of in the, you know what, if these are guys he's worked with and it's his culture and these are the guys he wants to get accountability in the building, I'm pretty fine with that. That I am worried. I know you said it earlier, Craig. I'm still waiting for that word out of Cleveland. I know that they don't have intention of hiring Todd Monken, but I don't know. Every time somebody else turns them down for the Browns head coach, I just want that to be done. And the Giants to say, yeah, they're hiring, Monken as the offensive coordinator. Let's make all this official and move forward. But yeah, I trust Harbaugh for most of these hires. I am disappointed in the offensive line coach. I wanted Carter Silla back. I did.
Sean, where are we with Monken? Last night, about 4 hours ago, was that he was not considered being the head coach for Cleveland. But I haven't heard anything like, hey, he's on his way up 95. I haven't heard anything in the last couple hours.
They met with the Rams assistant coach all day, basically. And so I think that's the guy that they want. It's either going to be him or Schwartz that'll get the head coach job. But I mean, they flew to LA to meet with him. So I would imagine, and he was supposed to interview with Buffalo later tonight too. So
yeah, that's the problem. Is this guy Shieldhouse? Nathan Shieldhouse is the Rams coach. Rams assistant is. Yeah, he had a long interview with the Browns today. Tonight, right now, he is interviewing with Buffalo. But these guys every day somebody else tells the Browns we don't want your job. So that's the thing that I start to worry about. I assume then they will ultimately end up then with Jim Schwartz if nobody else wants it, and it won't be Monken, and then Monken will come back to the Giants. But we haven't heard the official word there yet.
Great segue to the job that nobody wants, but their quarterback makes the Pro Bowl. Someone stop the madness with this. Lori, I am not a fan of like the sham part of the NFL when they jam this stuff down your throat. Replay, but it has to work. Like sports gambling runs the league. You get these crazy calls. You get just every week there's something that slaps the fans in the face, right? With this bull crap that they jam down your throat. Like, no, that was a first down. That was a catch. No, that wasn't a catch. Like every week, the fans are like, what happened to this game? This game now is it's a shell game. They're moving the goalposts. Everything is, it's hard to watch on a lot of weeks because the refs are going to ruin the game. It's going to all of a sudden fall in line with DraftKings and all this stuff. And now you get And as much as it was a joke and we all took it for ha ha ha, how does, and I know this is not a giant topic, but we were talking about Monken coming, right? How in the world? Explain to me, give me some insight. You're the pros pro. Please explain to me how Sanders makes the Pro Bowl over CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence, which are both healthy QBs. And where does and again, I know I'm rambling here, but like, just when does it end? When can we just stop with all this other stuff? Because it's not fun if they really can't get it right.
Well, on the Shedeur Sanders Pro Bowl thing, I got nothing. I mean, it's one of the most inexplicable things that I've seen in the NFL in quite some time. And we all know the Pro Bowl at this point is a joke. And I don't mind. I enjoy a good game of flag football, so I don't even mind that. Go have fun. I don't want anybody to get hurt. It's all fine. But number one, they have to revamp the Pro Bowl, I think. And I say this with respect to the players. For all the problems and the calls and things that go wrong or whatever, that these players put their heart, soul, and bodies out there, every day and every game like this. We should all respect it enough that I think, number one, Pro Bowl voting, whoever the starters are, those should be the Pro Bowlers. And then when you have to replace someone because somebody else is hurt, you can replace and show up at the Pro Bowl games and have fun. But we don't then get to say that Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler. He's not. Let's not call him that. Let's just call it's like a substitute teacher. Like, he's the guy, he's a relief pitcher. You went to the bullpen for a lefty or something, but he's not the starter. And he shouldn't be called that. So he shouldn't in his career and on his Football Reference page and here and there and whatever, it shouldn't say Pro Bowler, because that is just patently absurd. So number one, I'd like them to change policy, because I think it takes away from the guys like Drake May, who's a Pro Bowler, who's playing the Super Bowl, and he has to be replaced. Like, that's a Pro Bowler. Call it that. Okay. So that's number one. Let's fix that. If you're a replacement, you're a replacement. You don't get to be counted and say you were a Pro Bowler. The second part of it then is, I don't really understand. The only explanation I can give you is that I would have to assume is no one else wanted to play, that this has now gotten to be, it's flag football. And for the rest of these guys, besides Shedeur, especially some of these playoff quarterbacks who have now gone on vacation, made their, we all saw pictures of Jackson Dart catching a massive tuna out there in Baja, and having a ball. God bless him. Well, my guess is that if you're some of these other guys, you're Trevor Lawrence, you made your vacation plans. They're now trying to call you back and do this stuff. You're like, you know what? Nah, I don't need the B team fill in flag football BS Pro Bowl. And I'm assuming the only thing that could possibly have happened, if I look at it, is that Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, who else had to have said no? I mean, I honestly think
the rest of them are hurt.
Yeah, I'm not naming the guys who are hurt, but like everybody else that I just named, like Joe Flacco is more of a Pro Bowler than, like, just go through all these guys. And I'm not trying to be, by the way, I think Shedeur Sanders, I have no idea what type of player he can be in his career. He's a rookie. He came into a bad situation, and he may well develop into, we've seen Sam Darnold right now, but like Geno Smith and all these other quarterbacks, like a lot of quarterbacks have a second act and go
Daniel
on to
Jones.
be good. He could be a good quarterback. I have nothing against him. But to call him a Pro Bowler, I think you have to give people an explanation and simply say, look, there are a bunch of other guys who were not able to do it, and we're really grateful for Shedeur that he's going to be attending the Pro Bowl games as a fill-in, and just say that. This is absurd.
Sean, it's a shame too, because the quarterbacks are banged up. They've had enough. Like Lori just alluded, they want to go on vacation with their friends, family, and whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where Thomas can't buy his way to a Pro Bowl because those left tackles all want to go.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy.
Nobody's
Yeah.
bowing out on the tackle side because we all know how good Thomas is. That poor guy gets ripped off every year.
Every year. And the fact that he's only a second team All-Pro is crazy as well. It's nuts. He does not get the respect he should get, which is why I'm hoping with Harbaugh coming in, the Giants are going to win more, that he'll get the respect he deserves at this point. So,
I mean, the offensive line's not even this. When he's not playing, the offensive line literally falls apart without him. I mean, it's incredible. So, all right. I just wanted to get that off my chest because I saw
you
that.
feel better now?
Like,
It's absurd. It's absurd.
It is. I mean, no,
Exactly. Thank
it
you.
is. I like your point, Laurie, that change it. Don't call him a Pro Bowler. He's the alternate or whatever you want to call him. Yeah, he shouldn't be able to refer to himself. Anybody.
He's an alternate.
Not
and we
just on
call him
Sanders, but other
alternate,
guys too.
And we don't look at it and say, oh, he made the Pro Bowl X number of times in his career. Like, that's just not true. You didn't make the Pro Bowl. You're an alternate, no Pro Bowls.
This will sum it up right here.
You can't handle the truth.
Because we can't. We keep telling you because Sean has to kind of fly behind under the radar here, Lori, because I'm a long-standing Dart fan when he transferred from USC to Ole Miss, and Sean was like, "No way, Sanders is the best quarterback since Joe Montana." So
that is not what I said.
Sanders thing.
That is not what I said, but it's okay. It makes him feel better by saying that.
That's why, like I said, it's good to be the king, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me, Sean, about, and this isn't me. This is just me bringing the topic up because it's been brought up before.
Oh,
just want to get your take on it.
Sure.
Please don't go, well, that's Dabe's. It's just we're talking about concepts here.
Okay. Yeah.
Dabe's got killed for and Shane bringing in Buffalo guys, right?
Yeah.
But it's fine for Harbaugh to bring in Ravens guys. Is it purely because one wins and one doesn't?
Yeah. Again, 3 losing seasons in 18 years, and
12
and they
years
develop players. Look at how many Hall of Famers, Pro Bowlers, or let me say All Pros he's coached on that team. Bring in as many of those coaches as you can, as I said earlier. Like, it's a whole different thing. And honestly, that's what every coach does. We said this before when Dave's was hired. This is what coaches do. They bring in guys they know. They bring in guys from their organization. It's not like it's some thing. Oh my, like Giants fans are crazy with this. Like, oh, we're going to be the New York Ravens. You know what? I'll happy being the New York Ravens at this point.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Gladly take
I
that
didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem when Dable and Shane brought in some Buffalo guys. Like, so what?
Yeah.
Like, bring them on. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But do I have a problem importing guys from a successful organization? No.
Well, in fact, last time I checked, 12 of 18 years, you go to the playoffs. I think it's an upgrade in every angle you look at, right?
Absolutely.
So
bring his whole staff. He just literally can bring his whole staff. He can bring front office guys. He can bring whoever he wants from the Ravens because they clearly are well run. Absolutely.
So before I get into the speed round with Lori, the question I have is outside of the Illuminor Wandale thing, in 2026, the New York Giants happen to own I don't know what the word record comes to mind, but that's not the word I'm looking for. They own the most expensive defense in the NFL. It's $177 million. So they go into this season with a lot of money on the books for the defense, which kind of leads you to the feeling that you can't overspend on the defense. You're already number 1 in the NFL from a cap standpoint. You got to coach up the guys you have. So the money more or less would, again, I'm looking into this maybe a little deeper than I should, but I'm looking at the fact that the money, the cap, will be spent on the offensive side of the ball and a little bit less on the defensive side of the ball because it's very expensive. Do you want to see, because we talked about Illuminor, you want him to stay. You talked about Wandale is potentially expendable, not in a negative way, just you think they can find another guy that costs $12 million or $10 million. to grab 70 balls, instead of the 100 balls or whatever it is, 700 yards instead of 1,000 yards. How about from a draft standpoint? What's the biggest hole that the Giants need to fix? Because Senior Bowl is coming. It's around the corner. And that's basically the kickoff of your scouting season, right? Now it's full-fledged to the combine and the draft. What's the biggest hole, Lori, that you see that you want them to fill?
First of all, in terms of how they spend money with that, let's start with the expensive defense. I think he's a perfectly good guy, but I would cut Bobby Okereke. So there's money you can save. I think there's savings you can have on that. Frankly, not just there. I was talking about, I'd ask, you mentioned Runyon with a pay cut. Like, there's places to save money. So I'd be starting off with some cuts and saving money in places. Number one. Number two, in terms of where I would allocate resources, it wouldn't necessarily be, it has to be the offense or the defense. Obviously, the key cost savings you have on the offense that makes it cheaper is that you have the most valuable asset in all of football, which is a potential franchise quarterback on a rookie deal. So that makes the offense a little cheaper than starting off there. That's great. I also think that, job one is to make sure, like when you talk about offensive line, job one is to protect and take care of that young quarterback, nurture that young quarterback, and make sure that he is successful and give him every chance to succeed, because I do still think it's a quarterback-driven league. With that said, when I look at the positions of need, it'll obviously be interesting to see what they do in free agency. Do they fill right tackle in free agency, as an example, or are you looking to the draft for that? Does Harbaugh and, you mentioned safety and Caleb Downs at Ohio State. Look, is that if we're looking at the entire Giants roster and saying, what are the biggest needs? I'm not sure if you'd say safety per se, but if they're looking for a safety that's going to be their version of a Kyle Hamilton and they need that guy to run their defense, then they might say that's a glaring need and they might draft safety. Or, maybe it's Sonny Styles, that linebacker, and they're like, there's absolutely nothing in this linebacker room. That's where we're going. So I think that, I think there's a lot of ways that they can go with the draft. I tend to, if you're saying to me, if they don't do something, like if they do not re-sign Illuminor, I hate drafting. First round to me should not actually be position of need. It should be best available.
Best player. Yep.
It makes me insane. I think you end up being the Jets and the Giants, like the Giants in particular. Like, that's how you end up being bad, is when you decide that you have to trade up for Tay Banks because Wink Martindale wants that type of cornerback to run for his system. When you do those reaches and you do that kind of BS, that's how you end up a perennially bad team. So whatever they take in the first round, to me, it should be whoever the best player on their board is. And other than I would not take a quarterback. It's not going to be that, but like, take the best player. So it should be that. But in terms of like, what do they need the most? I mean, this team still has so many needs. We've talked about it. It's like, they need a playmaking safety. They need an outside cornerback. They really don't have, I'd like to bring Micah McFadden back, but they don't have linebackers who are actually athletic and can cover. They don't have that. They could use another defensive tackle. Can you get away? We'll see what happens with Darius Alexander. Can you get away without it? Or a run-stopping defensive tackle? Like, you need that. Right tackle, another guard.
All in the first round?
No, I'm just telling you, like, no, that's not all the first round. I'm just talking about the needs of the roster. And then
I got you. I was just having fun.
You could use a first-round pick on a playmaking wide receiver, and you have those like 1A and 1B wide receivers there for
That's
Dart.
what I want.
So
that's what I want.
All of those are all in play. And my only plea to them is, handle your business as best you can in free agency. So you get to the draft. And even if there are still holes on this roster, which there will be, day 3 to me is about filling needs. Day 1 and 2 should be the best
player build.
Pick, Did the Ravens really need Kyle Hamilton? I don't know that they needed a safety that year, but you pick the best player. And if that guy's a star, how about this kid, I'm in worry with the Seahawks or whatever, pick somebody who is a terrific player and playmaker and go with that guy. So that's who I want them to draft, because I think there are still, regardless of how expensive that defense is, they have needs all over the roster.
Yeah. Let me throw this in there quick. I know we're going to go to the speed round or whatever, but Mary Kay Cabot has said that Todd Monken is still very much solidly in the mix to be the head coach. Now, I don't know how often she gets things right. I'm not as familiar. I've heard some different things about her accuracy, but that is the word out there.
That was 2 hours ago. She's been saying this, that Monken's still in the mix. And she does cover for the Cleveland Plain Dealer, their local newspaper there, cleveland.com. So she's the longest standing Cleveland beat writer. And still saying that Todd Monken is in the mix there, but I don't know. Until they officially say he's not, I guess until they hire a head coach, we have to assume that, he's still in the running.
I love it. I love it because I love the fact that it's last year you're kind of licking your wounds and you're like, what are we going to do now? This is a fresh feeling. It's a clean slate. It's a new era because it's been rough. Lori, I've got season tickets in my family since 1967. I've only missed, up until 2025, I'd only missed 6 games since 1984. My dad brought me all the time, and then I took the seats over. This year, I didn't go to 3 games, and that's crazy. I mean, I had missed only 6 games in 30 years, and then there's no reason to go to the game. It's not enjoyable. There's the product on the field is great. Now, again, I loved watching dart. I'm a dart guy. My son turned me on to him when he transferred from USC to Ole Miss. So he makes the game exciting. Now that he's got Kafka nowhere to be found, which I love that. Sean and I are high-fiving that the whole way. This feels good. It just feels like, okay, there's something to hang on to here. It's not the same old, same old. This guy wins. This guy knows how to win. He knows how to evaluate talent. He is that CEO type. I had a individual inside the building tell me that year 1, Dable was the CEO. They go to the playoffs. Jones gets hurt. They're scrambling for quarterbacks. And then he drops back into calling plays. And he goes from the CEO type in year 1 down to offensive coordinator in year 2 and 3. And that just kind of started the spiral. So we know we won't have that with John. And you know what? Harbaugh is a respected guy. I'm sure all the media people are going to like him too. He's a pretty straight shooter, right? Is that what you're getting on your side?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we've heard, whether it's people who've covered him for years in Baltimore, you only hear good things about him. You don't hear anybody, whether it's guys who've played with him, coached with him. Even ownership and on the way out and the general manager, or the media or whatever it is, you just only hear good things about John Harbaugh.
Love it. Wonder where he's going to live. We're going to get into speed round now next week. So it's next week's Super Bowl. So Ryan Dunleavy, who's normally on with us, will be back in 2 weeks. And we will bring Lori back because she's awesome to hang out with us. And by the way, 10 p.m., right? 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. on the Fan. Make sure you're following her. Make sure you're tuning in. We'd appreciate you guys that would do that for us. Lori, I have a list of questions I'm going to ask you. It's like speed round. Short answers. Have a little fun. They're all Giants related.
Okay.
By the way, Lori, did you grow up in the metro area? Like, did you grow up a Giants fan or a New York sports fan? I know a lot of people move around, so.
Yep. Grew up in Rockland County, and
Oh, yeah.
dad had my dad and uncle. We had Giants tickets. Grew up going to games. All of that. Yep.
Love it. All right, here we go. Question 1: Sims or Eli?
Eli.
Ooh, okay. Interception for a touchdown or a bomb for a touchdown?
The Giants teams of my childhood, we used to joke that Dave Jennings was the best offensive player on the team, the punter.
I
So
remember.
So there's that part of me that wants to say interception, but if I'm being honest, it's probably a bomb.
All right. All right. I'm going to give you 3 wide receivers. Who's your
By
favorite?
the way, I will say this on Sims. The thing about Phil Sims that I do love is I will forever be grateful 22 of 25 to
Yeah.
pick your most important game that you
Yep.
ever play in your career and to elevate your game and play your best football in the most important game ever. That was Phil Sims. But I mean, same thing, Eli. I mean, it's
Yep.
insane that pass to Manningham, all of that, the NFC championship game in San Francisco when he gets
Getting
the
beat
snot
up.
knocked out of him,
Yeah.
like play after play, and he just mud all over
Fixing his helmet.
play, and they're just yanking him back up, and he's throwing for 300 yards in the rain. Like, so, love both those guys, but Eli.
All right. So we usually, I'm fortunate. We know the little tagline is we tell you what the players tell us. We interview former players, and we're fortunate enough to interview active players throughout the year. We've had some really good guys on over the years, but I always remember, never forget it, when I interviewed, and we've gotten pretty friendly with him over the years, Leonard Marshall saying Sims was such a pain in the ass because he would go into the defensive meeting room and say, I'm squatting, who's coming? He's like, because I'm going to out squat you guys. And he was like, they'd be like, shut up, Sims, go away. And then they would go in the weight room and everybody would leave. And it would be Eric Howard and Leonard Marshall and Keith Hamilton and Sims. And Sims squatting right along with those guys. They said he was a top 5 guy. Leonard said he was like a top 5 guys for strength. He was ridiculously strong. So that was tough.
You know what? To go toe to toe with Parcells on the sideline.
Yeah.
The two of them would yell at each other. So anyway, Phil Sims was great.
I'm going to give you 3 wide receivers. Tell me which one is your favorite and why.
Okay.
You get one of the 3 you get to pick. Amani Tuber, Hakeem Nicks, or Victor Cruz.
Wow. That's tough.
You can do it, Lori. I have faith in you.
Like all 3, and for very different reasons. I mean, I don't know. Victor Cruz is so much fun. And so I guess I'll take the salsa dancing and the, was it a 99-yard pass, pass play against the Jets to get the Giants to the playoffs that season.
Yep.
Undrafted free agent. And by the way, you probably saw this really, say what you want about Darius Slayton, who is a really stand-up great guy, but I'm sure you saw this. He made comments recently after they signed John Harbaugh to be coach, and he said, which I thought this was pretty interesting, just talking about how a guy like Victor Cruz would never have made the roster under the previous sort of coaching staffs here, that what he basically was saying is it hasn't been a meritocracy, that if you're not like a pedigree draft pick that you get to hang on the roster, that Victor Cruz kind of guy would have gotten overlooked, and he's looking forward to that with Harbaugh. I thought that was interesting.
Sean, we know that. How many times We can't get Turbo Miller on this team, and then they elevate him to scratch him healthy on a Sunday.
Right. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Oh,
But Eric Gray, but you got to have Eric Gray. Elevate
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Let's not
Eric
see Turbo
Gray.
Miller.
Good God.
All right. You're going to have dinner with one Giant,
Mhm.
not someone that's not in your era. So since you were born till now,
Yeah.
you get to have dinner with one Giant. Who is it and where are you going?
One Giant. Who do I want to have dinner with? One Giant. Just trying to think of who would be.
Entertaining?
Yeah, and Lord knows, you know what, I'm afraid to say Lawrence Taylor because I think that would actually be sort of terrifying. So, like as much as so I think that would be a. I think
Right.
that would be
He's
That would
like,
have been
no.
my choice. That would have
He's
been my
like, no,
choice.
not LT. She's like, no,
My choice is
anyone else.
LT for the reason why she doesn't want to.
right.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be terrifying for me. But so I think I can't say that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who would be.
Come on, you can do it.
of
You
who
can
would
do
be
it. I have
great
faith in
to have-
you.
To have dinner with. Who would be particularly interesting?
Go position by position. It's easier.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like who would be fun to, when I think of some of those guys of, from childhood, the Harry Carsons and all those sort of guys. But
They don't look fun though. Those guys are intimidating.
I know they are, but it'd be fun to kind of hear some of the stories from back then, from some of those guys about those teams and what that was like and all of that. I think that would be kind of cool.
All right, you're on the clock. Who are you going with?
I don't know. You know what? I'd probably just I'll have dinner with Eli. We'll go out someplace cool and yeah, you know what? He's such a funny guy. I'm sure he has a million fun stories. So I'll just have dinner with Eli.
All right, you took
Good
the easy way out.
I
All right.
did.
Tiki or Barkley?
Tiki or Barkley? Tiki.
Good.
Why?
Well, I mean, so Barkley to me he's obviously a good player, but all the BS about that with bad offensive lines. I mean, we saw it right now this year with the Eagles. Like, I'm not saying he's not a good back. He's obviously a really good back, but I think I think he's a little overrated. I really do. Tiki has better hands. So I don't know. I think Tiki. Obviously, if you're talking about who has a better all-time great Giants career, I mean, it's like a no-brainer.
It's Tiki. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think Sean and I both agree with you. It's Tiki.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Tiki didn't go play for the Eagles. So there you go.
No.
I don't blame him from go take your bag and go someplace else. The Giants didn't want him, and that's okay. And honestly, Joe Shane should have traded him and gotten something back for him. If you didn't want to re-sign him, don't re-sign him. Saquon's a good guy, nice guy, good off the field, all that sort of stuff and whatever. But he was never going to be that extraordinary a player or have the season he had last year with the Eagles. He was never going to have that with the Giants. So
No, not behind that offensive line.
No.
yeah,
All right. Giant Stadium or MetLife Stadium?
Giant Stadium.
Yeah, way more character. That was an easy one.
Way more character, louder.
Mhm.
The new stadium,
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable how
It's a big old air conditioning unit.
how you could spend all that money and end up with that.
By the way, I got one last question for Lori, and then she doesn't want to hang out with us all night. We're going to let her go and put your comments. I see you guys are pounding the comments in there. Put your questions in there because we're going to answer your questions after we let Lori go, like we always do with one last drive. So make sure you're putting your questions in there. All right, this is, I think, the coolest one. But you struggled with the who you're going to dinner with. So this one might throw you for a loop. Ready? So Tish comes to town and Tish says, Lori,
Yeah.
you're consulting here with me, and we're about to make a movie about one Giants player. We're gonna pick a Giants player and we're gonna make a movie. Tish is donating, he's pulling up, and he's given the entire budget is on Steve Tish. And he calls you up, Lori, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. on the Fan, and he says, Lori, I'm gonna make a movie about a New York Giants player. Maybe a documentary, I don't know, but I'm going to make a movie. I need your input on who you think we should make this movie about, because it's got to be different. Anybody can make it one of those cheesy sports movies. This got to be different. I mean, trust me, they took Vince Papale, who had one play in his life, and a bartender in South Philly, and they made a Mark Wahlberg movie out of it. So, who's going to be the player?
Jason Sehorn.
What? That is an amazing answer. Why?
I don't know, the Jason Sehorn story, like an actually legitimate fast white cornerback until he gets hurt. But I don't know, he's sort of kind of a pretty boy, and
I love that.
I
absolutely love
it. A little out of the box. The Jason Sehorn story.
I am totally sending a note to Steve Tish. I'm going to give Lori credit, because I didn't see that coming at all.
No. That was well done.
Very
well done.
Comments, and I think people want to have dinner with Parcells or Fran Tarkenton.
Fran Tarkenton, really?
Is that their dinner choices or their movie choices?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's cold.
Kerry Collins. Wow. Yeah. Well, that would be interesting. I mean, that was a bit dicey, but then he came to the Giants, and he played well as a Giant. Other than, the whole Super Bowl didn't go so well, but
that wasn't his fault. That was the best defense of all time. All right. So what else you got besides 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. on the Fan? What else you got going on we want to tell these folks about?
That's my main gig is WFAN, and been doing it for we're going on. It'll be 19 years, which is insane. In the spring. So people can tune in and catch me there. And when I'm not doing that, I help lead an agency and recently started a sports division there, so that's fun. But WFAN.
2 o'clock in the morning though on Sundays. Monday morning must be pretty rough for you.
Yeah, a little flexible on that.
Fair enough. We're gonna have you back when we get closer to the season, if that's okay.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
All right, guys. Dunleavy in 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. By the way, you got any skin in the game here? Seattle or Patriots?
I think Seattle will win. I'll pick Seattle. I obviously like that defense a lot, and
Leonard Williams, Julian Love.
Yeah, some of the former Giants for sure, but also would love to see the Sam Darnold story is a really good one, and would love to see him. The fact that he did, win 14 games last year with the Vikings, they kick him to the curb, heads out there to Seattle, does it again. The rep is he can't win the big game, plays really good football in that NFC Championship game, and now has a chance. The famous line, I'm seeing ghosts against the Patriots years ago when he was with the Jets, has a chance to kind of rewrite that story, and that he would be the first Super Bowl champion out of that vaunted quarterback class with all those great players and, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and all of that. And that it turns out it's Sam Darnold who gets to the Super Bowl and wins the ring. I think that's a great story. So I'll be pulling for Seattle. I think that would be the storylines there. I think are great.
Awesome. Love it. All right. I'm going to let you go. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks,
I'm going to
Lori.
go answer all these crazy, nutty questions that are in here. And again, thank you very much for coming on. We owe you one. And again, Lori Rubinson, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. People, make sure you're following her. And Lori, we'll see you later.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Nice,
Bye,
Lori.
Lori.
Thank you. All right, people, I'm going to go to one last drive here, which we're going to answer your questions. I'm looking for the one last drive. It's usually up at the top, and it looks like all right, we end the show with all your crazy questions. Sometimes you guys don't ask any questions, but I'm sure there's some in here somewhere.
I think there's a couple, not a lot.
Not a lot this week. A lot of conversation. Let's see. I'm rolling through here.
The chat was active tonight for sure.
What's that?
The chat was active tonight. No doubt about it.
Let's see. Perennial. I'm looking. Oh, here we go. All right. Cole's got one here at 7:53. It says, so does that mean he didn't trust his scouts? So that's on him, which, you know what? I don't know what he's referring to.
Shane, because Shane was going to all the Senior Bowl, the college games and all that. I think that's what he was referring to when we were talking about that.
I do know this, Cole, that there was some conversations when Shane took over that there were some scouts that Shane didn't have the axe to get rid of, right? Like they were grandfathering in some of these scouts. Some of the scouts got removed and they brought some of their own in. I think that's where Chris Snead might have gotten an opportunity somewhere along the line.
Yes.
But there was Colt's good point. There was a little bit of rift there that Shane couldn't clean house and bring all his own people in. So it's a good possibility that he didn't trust all those guys. He does go to a lot of games. Let's see. I'm looking. If you see one in there, let me know. Let's see. Draft picks, Theo project. Colt says, this is funny. I have no idea who Tim Kelly was. I don't think anybody did, Colt.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I know there's got to be a couple more in here somewhere.
Here's one. I got one from Drew. Will Illuminar come back with his coach gone? He travels with him. I don't know if he was in New England with him, but Vegas to New York. By the way, Illuminar was drafted by the Ravens. Interesting thing if they bring him back. But what do you think, Ray? Do you think he travels and goes where Carm goes, or he's going to go where the money goes?
I think you go where the money goes. I think it's probably like one is he likes the area. He's been active on social media. I think he thinks about this is a cool place to raise a family because I think he's got little ones, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm thinking he wants to stay, but would go. This could be his last contract, right? If he gets a 4-year deal, like I think either he stays or he follows the money. I don't think he's going to follow Carm just to follow Carm unless Carm comes and gets him. Like says, hey, I'm going here. You've got a starting spot here.
Right. Okay.
But it would have to be at the money that he wants.
Which I mean might get. Who knows? Like I said, they draft him, so we'll see. We'll see. I got another one here too. I don't think there was another one between. So is this one here? I'll take this one. Would you trade Tibbs to free up cap space, especially with the draft being strong in edge rushers? I mean, I would think about it, but I think you're going to get another year out of him and see what he can do. So I don't know if they're going to trade him before the draft. But
wait, that wasn't the question before the draft, was it? Especially with the draft. It just says with the draft being strong. I think the question's more.
Well, if you're going to trade him before, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm trading him. I mean, it makes sense. Logically, it makes sense to trade him because you got Carter and Burns and you can draft somebody else. I wouldn't be upset if they did. I wouldn't be upset if he stays. Either way, I don't know. I think they'll get creative in other ways. I don't think they'll trade him, but I could be wrong.
The speed round question was what version of Hakeem Nicks? Well, that's like saying what version of Victor Cruz, right? Like,
right.
So it was just, that question's about Toomer, Nicks, or Cruz, which one is your favorite and why? So you're always going to pick at the height, right? The height of the player. Like I love Toomer for a million reasons, but Hakeem Nicks was so much more fun to watch play. And
Absolutely.
then and Cruz was just as much fun to watch play, you know. But
I was a
Toomer's
big
got
fan of Knicks. I was
yeah.
a big fan of Hakeem.
Yep. Toomer owns all the stats though. You don't win a lot of games without him.
He does.
I know I had starred one or two in here before that I thought maybe you grabbed it already. Yeah, so make sure you guys follow Lori. She was a lot of fun. We'll have Dunleavy back on. Super Bowl's coming up. I'm definitely rooting for Seattle, with Love there and
the fact that I'm not going to root for the Patriots
and Leonard Williams and nobody's rooting for the Patriots. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't root for Boston teams.
Dead Cat Money's 12 million. That must be here it is. Would you trade?
That's the one I just did.
Yeah. You got that one. Yep. Sorry, I was looking for the stars. I starred them in the platform to grab them, but I think that's it. You guys.
Sean Jackson just put one in.
If Monken somehow doesn't become the Giants OC, which available candidates would you like to be the next Giants OC? Ooh.
Charlie Weiss Jr.
Interesting. I'm not a Charlie Weiss Jr. guy, but it makes sense.
Put him in at Ole Miss.
Yeah, it does make some sense. Here's my problem.
What's your problem?
The Ole Miss offense was not great. All right. It's just not pro. It's just not a pro style offense. I think it's even dumbed down even further than, what we have now. I don't think it's the right fit just because it's Dart's guy from college. Like, these guys get smarter and they get better. That would just be, I think, holding Dart back. You know what I mean? Because, they didn't clean up his footwork. I mean, yeah, it's on Kiffin, but they didn't clean his footwork up. They didn't have him, reading defenses and progressions like they do now. Like, he's accelerating. His trajectory is this way. I wouldn't want some guy that coached him 2 years ago to bring him back down to that level of college play.
I get it, but he's got one of the better guys to go to for advice and his dad.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm just not a fan of bringing a college guy in. Huh. The other guy was Williams, wasn't he?
Who
out there?
What Williams?
I thought it was the guy that used to be their Ravens offense coordinator before Monken.
Greg Roman.
Greg Roman.
I don't know if I'd bring him in. I mean, yeah, I worked with him, but I don't know if that's what Dart needs. I would look at it is if the Browns don't hire that Shieldhouse, or however you say his name, I'd look to bring him in as offensive coordinator.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of good candidates out there. Just need someone that's got, that understands that it's gotta progress, right? It's gotta get better, like nothing more painful than watching Dave's run Wan'Dale Robinson on 9-yard routes when you need 10 and expect yak every time. Like, I can't do that. I need crossing routes. I need some deception. I need some stick routes. I need double moves. I don't know. It'll be interesting if Monken doesn't come. It really will be. I think Harbaugh is.
I'd look at the I can't remember his first name, but I'd look at Clint Kubiak's brother as potential OC as well. I mean, you look what Clint's doing in Seattle, and then,
So Davis Webb, well. Mark Davis Webb is looking. He got a head coaching interview today. Like,
I think my theory is Buffalo wants to hire Dable as the head coach and bring in Webb as the OC.
Yep,
that's my theory.
Oh, shout out to Tuto.
But Webb would be a good choice.
Thank you, Tuto. Appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, Tuto. Paisano.
Yeah. I actually, Mark, would love Davis Webb to come here and work with Dart. I think that would be pretty cool because he's a pretty smart dude, and he's really taken to this coaching thing, I think it would be cool. Smart guy, just it's tough to make it as a quarterback in the NFL, but he's taken to the coaching thing. And I think, I love that, Mark. I absolutely love that. So, all right, we are out. We will see you guys. I don't see him getting a head coaching job. Not yet. Not going from quarterback coach to head coach. That would just be insanity. People underestimate how hard it is to be a head coach, and run a building and all those people, right? Like quarterback coach, you're in charge of three guys in the room.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So there's a big difference. We'll be back next week, same time, same bad channel. And we'll have probably Chris or Truth in here with us, and we'll see what changes, because there's going to be some movement here in the next couple of days. I hope you guys are all dug out. I got them 1.5 feet of snow, still not quite 100% dug out yet. So for all you guys that are out there shoveling, I feel your pain. My back's all jacked up too. We'll see you guys next week.